Welcome in, cheap ass media fans. We are here. We are going into the Hickory Mini Con. They try to have at least two of these a year. The great guys at Timmy Mac's Comics and Games in Morganton, and also Time Tunnel here in Hickory, and also Second Chance Comics that's in Concord put on this show each year, and they do two shows a year, and it's probably my favorite show and the one I go to the most. And we're going to go in and see what's going on, see what I picked up, and then just kind of go around. We might see a few people, talk to a few people. We'll find out. Here we go. I need that.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Captain's Comics and Toys.
Yeah, I need to get.
Charleston?
I need to get a new shirt from you.
Is that Charleston?
Yeah, Charleston. I happened to see them and go down there. Hey man, it's the Beardy Weirdy. That's my man.
Check out my
the
comic book.
Microcon,
Yeah. First Saturday in May.
First Saturday in May.
Yeah, so May 6th, which is next Saturday, 12 to 5 at Cabarrus Brewing Company, near downtown Concord. That's 329 McGill Avenue, Concord, North Carolina.
Now I've been to your physical shop. You have a shop in the antique mall down there.
Yep.
And it's really nice. It's really nice.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I love it. I've snuck in. I mean, you're out and working the world, but I've snuck in there and bought some stuff.
I try to do more shows than anyone I know. So last year was 48 events. There's only 52 weeks in a year, so not a whole lot of headroom there.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I've seen you on Todd Ventures.
Oh yeah.
Thing on YouTube.
So I do Todd Ventures' theme song.
Yeah,
I wrote and
that's what he
recorded that.
said.
Yeah.
That's really good. I thought it was really good. He seemed like a nice guy.
Todd's great.
I like watching him.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, I'll probably be back and buy some more Walking Dead if you still got some.
I do. Yeah, I do. My A through Z boxes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
Cool beans.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for the support. Yeah, appreciate
All
it,
right,
dude.
have a great day.
You too.
Well, okay, now that the haul is over, now that the show is over, the haul is over, I am home. I had some other errands to run, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But these are my pickups. This is what I got. There was a lot of great comics, a lot of stuff I hadn't seen in person. I mean, I knew it existed, but I had not seen it in person. And there's something about our particular area. I'm a big Walking Dead collector, and and I started when the show started, and then I kind of slacked off, and then of course the comic ended, and so now I'm going back and picking those up. So I found a lot of those, but we'll go through some of the just random picks I got. Did hit a lot of dollar comics. Some stuff $2 to $3, not bad. But anyway, first up is 1963. Because of the kayfabe guys, I'm going to try to read all of 1963. And I didn't even recognize this cover. And I was like, oh man, that's 1963. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's issue 4. Pick it up. I think we've got 1 and 2. Now I got to get the rest of them. Conan, I'm a Conan guy, and I do like Conan, and I read it a lot when I was a kid, but there was this guy that had, he had a lot of Bronze Age, but he had them really cheap. I mean, he had them for like $1, and some of them are really good. And picked up Giant Size Conan number 2, Giant Size Conan number 3, Giant Size Conan number 4, and Conan's King Size Annual number 2. Picked that up. Also, this was the issue of Fantastic Four I've not seen since I was a kid, and it's very beat up, but it was a $1 book, and it is Fantastic Four 168. And I just, you know, I just, it was when Power Man replaced the Thing, replaced Ben Grimm, because Ben had lost his powers, and it was one of the first comics I remember reading. So I was happy to pick that up because I never found it. You know, a lot of things that people don't understand about comic collecting is that originally, before there were comic shops, you couldn't find any of this stuff. I mean, if you picked it up, you might be able to trade a friend for it, or if there was an organized swap in your town, like Charlotte was big enough to have a swap. I'm sure that we eventually had one in Lenore that I lost a lot of books on because the Cub Scouts did it. My mom was like, no, you need to like trade with everybody. So I lost a lot of good comics. It's basically what happened. Anyway, if it didn't come to your newsstand, you didn't get it. And that's also why I'm a Marvel guy, is because at the newsstand, at our convenience stores and stuff, it was all Marvel. You didn't get DC unless you went to, it was rare, few and far between at a convenience store, but you didn't get DC unless you went to a drugstore. There was a couple of drugstores in town that had a lot of DC. I also picked up a run of the John Byrne Hulk when John Byrne took over, and he wasn't there long. I mean, it was like 6 months or something, so they must have cheesed him off. I never have known the backstory of that. But anyway, I picked up the first issue of it, and here's like a couple of the issues. They had them in the dollar boxes. So it's something that means something to me. It's not necessarily something that means something to everybody. And that's, and see, that one's not even bagged. I mean, some of the stuff that you would pick up in the dollar boxes, that's the way they are. Some's bagged, some's not. Doc Samson. Bruce and Betty finally getting married. Random Judge Dredd. I'm a Judge Dredd guy. If I can find Judge Dredd, anytime I find it, Fleetway or anybody, I try to pick it up. Also, Kirby, okay? I love Commandy, and they had a couple issues of Commandy. They had Commandy when Kirby was doing it, and then they had 2 issues where Kirby had left. So, but I thought they were in good shape. They also had an OMAC when Kirby was there, and an OMAC when Kirby had left. Then they also had the Justice Incorporated that Kirby had done, a couple of issues of that. I also picked up Killraven, War of the Worlds. It's based on the story War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. And I had picked them up mainly because there was people when I was a kid that just loved this book. They loved this character and loved this book. Never read it. but this guy had tons of them, and so I picked it up. I'm going to read it. Good Bronze Age material. You know, in the nightmare of 2019 AD. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, picked up a lot of Kill Raven, which was drawn by P. Craig Russell, and I got quite a good run. I mean, we're talking about a 10-issue run. And then somebody actually had the graphic novel for $1 that he did after. It's sometime in the 80s, like probably about 84, 85, that P. Craig Russell come back and did Kill Raven for Marvel. They also had some Micronauts. I'm a big Micronauts fan, and loved that book. Anyway, I have up to issue 30. This was some of the issues after that, but I've always loved this particular cover. It was one of the first direct books I remember, and loved that cover by Michael Golden, and just thought that was a beautiful cover. It's still one of my favorites. Also, I've been trying to pick up all the Red Room around here. I don't know if people are religious. They don't think the Red Room's rough. It is rough, but I do like the way Ed Piskor draws, and his writing's good too. But anyway, I finally picked up issue 4, Trigger Warning. Somebody had it. So finally got that. The Random Robotech. Somebody had Robotech. Now we get to The Walking Dead. Now, Walking Dead 100, and I've heard guys talk about this. I've got a copy of issue 100, but it's the first issue with Negan in it, and that Negan actually appears. And this is the cover that Charlie Adlard did with all the dead bodies leading up to issue 100. It's all Tyrese is up in the front, but it's all the people who have died in the run of the book. And I always thought that was a great cover. And they did like 50 covers at issue 100. And, you know, Robert Kirkman's always doing that. But just some random issues that I didn't have. This really good painted cover of Alpha, which if you've watched the show, you know who that is. But finally, the last issues with Rick. And that was something I'd never seen in person. I'd never seen him in person. I also picked up, and this is... Okay, Walking Dead, they're doing... I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if I am, I'm preaching to the choir. But... what they've been doing is the original Walking Dead book was in black and white. So Robert Kirkman, in an effort to get even more money, as always, has reprinted the book in color. They have a colorist doing it and everything. This is the first issue, but it's a variant cover that Arthur Adams did, and I'm a sucker for Arthur Adams. I'm going to try to get all the books that Arthur Adams had did the cover for. Is what I'm going to try to do. That's my little niche collection thing that I want to do. Also, because of The Walking Dead, I started picking up the X-Files, because that's where Charlie Adlard drew The Walking Dead for the most run of the book. He started out doing the X-Files, and there was quite a few dollar bin copies of the X-Files today, so I picked a lot of those up. A pretty good run of the X-Files. I'd say about 15 issues of the X-Files. Some that Charlie Adlard did, some he didn't. But I did enjoy the show, the X-Files, and I have no problem in reading that. Now, that was the stuff I picked up at the con. I also had some errands to run, so I went to Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree had, I don't know if you guys have seen these or not, but they've been doing Disney books, but this is the first Star Wars Disney books I've seen. But anyway, it's Star Wars Adventures like the regular thing, but it's done under the Peachtree Playthings banner. And that's the company that does the books. And they're in the coloring book section. I just happened to see it walking past them. But they also have 2 issues of the Republic, the High Republic, which everybody kind of hates. And that's just one of those things. But anyway, there's like 4 issues. Collect them all. But there's 2 that are High Republic. But I just got the regular Star Wars Adventures. And these are probably reprints. What I noticed with the Mickey Mouse books that they had like this was the Mickey Mouse books were reprints of stuff that was European, and then they translated it. And I wonder if that's the way it is with these. Might find out later. Then I also swung by Ollie's because those were right by the Dollar Tree. And yes, again, this was the standout, was because I don't have all the Walking Dead hardbacks, but they had issue 14 or book 14 of that, and it was only, because it's Ollie's, it was only $5.99. So $5.99 for that. And when I did read, telling you that I did read all of The Walking Dead, I have read the entire thing. I read it by borrowing it from the library because our library has it, and they have it digitally on Hoopla, and they also had it, physically that you could pick up. But anyway, I picked that up, and then this Uncanny X-Men versus Shield, which I just thought, when Cyclops looked like that, I just thought it was so cool. And I never did pick any of those up in regular succession, but the artwork on this just looks really, really good. And it was only $6.99. And but anyway, the artwork is just stunning artwork. I think it even says it on the back of here, so I kind of stole that. But anyway, that was the haul after going to the show. Hickory does 2 shows every year. We're getting ready, it is con season now. It's already started. So we'll have the next big show for us will be next month, will be Heroes Con, which is the biggest show of the year in North Carolina. And then next, after that, will probably be another Hickory Con. They'll do one in the fall, sometime around October. But, unless you just want to go to random cons, because there's tons of them around, and in our area anyway. And the one that I went to that I really liked the best last year, or the last couple of years, has been in Asheville. And they just had a ton of dealers. It was the same people that run the Hickory Con. It was Tom Tunnell and Timmy Mack. It was the same people that run it, but they were. They also had people that were close to Tennessee. They're so much closer to Tennessee that they had a lot of dealers from Tennessee. Had a lot of stuff, a lot of Western, a lot of different comics than you would find, and I thought that was kind of cool. But that's it. That kind of wraps it up. I did the walkthrough. We walked through and looked around, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.